Deep inside the equatorial forests of Cameroon, nature still rules. Dense jungle stretches for hundreds of kilometers. Wildlife thrives here, far from the noise of cities and modern life. But not everything in this remote region is peaceful. Hidden beneath the towering trees are some of the most dangerous roads in Central Africa. 2 hours from the capital Yaoundé, passengers argue with their driver. The reason is obvious. The car is dangerously overcrowded. In Cameroon's rural areas, these vehicles, known locally as clando taxis, are often the only way to travel. 15 passengers squeezed into a single car is not unusual. The lightest passengers sit on the heavier ones. Others ride in the trunk. And when there is no more space inside, the rest climb onto the roof. Comfort is not a priority. Outside major cities, regular public transport barely exists. Instead, thousands of unofficial taxis travel along rough forest tracks, connecting remote towns and villages. Many of these vehicles are decades old. Oscar's taxi is one of them. His battered car has survived more than 20 years of punishment on Cameroon's brutal dirt roads. Keeping it running requires creativity. A young mechanic constantly repairs the vehicle using whatever tools are available. Every part of the car shows scars from years of battle with the forest roads. Driving this car is already risky, but the road itself is even worse. Nearly 90% of Cameroon's roads are unpaved. During the rainy season, mud transforms simple journeys into exhausting expeditions. Travel that should take 2 hours can take an entire day. Each trip becomes a race against time and against the road itself. Sometimes the road simply disappears. Cars sink into thick mud. Villagers occasionally help drivers push their vehicles out, often in exchange for a small payment. Broken bridges, deep holes, and mechanical failures are part of the journey. Oscar's car breaks down several times during the trip. Loose wheels, a failing suspension, a leaking fuel tank. But somehow, the journey continues. Because on these roads, drivers follow a simple rule. No matter what happens, you keep moving. For many villagers, the road is also a source of income. Some repair sections of the road themselves and ask travelers for small donations. Others work in stone quarries, breaking volcanic rock by hand to sell for construction. Many of these workers are young students trying to pay for their education. Even children spend weekends crushing stones to afford school fees. Life here is hard, but survival requires determination. Deep in the forest live one of the region's oldest communities. The pygmy tribes have lived in harmony with nature for centuries. Their hunting grounds once stretched across the entire equatorial forest. But today their way of life is disappearing. Logging, agriculture, and palm oil plantations are slowly pushing them out of their ancestral lands. Without the forest, their traditions and their survival are at risk. Some towns in the forest remain almost completely isolated. During the rainy season, roads become impassable for months. Thousands of people are effectively trapped inside the jungle. Motorcycle taxis are often the only vehicles capable of navigating the narrow forest paths. These fearless riders transport passengers across broken bridges, flooded tracks, and dangerous trails. Despite the challenges, Cameroon remains a country rich in natural resources and energy. Gold has recently been discovered in some of its mountains. The nation stands at a crossroads between isolation and development. For many young Cameroonians, the hope is simple: better roads, better infrastructure, and a future where these dangerous journeys are no longer necessary. Until then, the forest roads remain a daily challenge, a place where survival depends on courage, determination, and a vehicle that somehow keeps moving. As the sun slowly disappears behind the dense rainforest, the forest roads of Cameroon fall silent once again. The few vehicles that dared to challenge the muddy tracks during the day now stop for the night. Driving after dark in these remote regions is simply too dangerous. Broken bridges, deep holes, and thick jungle make visibility almost impossible. For travelers and drivers alike, the safest option is to wait until morning before continuing their long and uncertain journey. Yet despite the dangers, life along these roads continues. Farmers, traders, teachers, and villagers all depend on these fragile routes to survive. Every day, old taxis, motorcycles, and trucks push forward through mud and forest, connecting isolated communities to the rest of the country. Until better roads arrive, these dangerous paths through the jungle remain the lifeline of Cameroon's remote regions, a place where resilience, courage, and determination keep the wheels turning.